Today's video is about interpreting the periodic table, and it is brought to you by Help Young Minds, and I'm your host, Arju Neupane. The periodic table contains all the elements which have been discovered so far, and as we'll see in later videos, it can tell you a lot about the physical and chemical properties of the elements. To begin, let's go over a few terms. Each element in the periodic table is associated with a symbol and an atomic number, and oftentimes its valency is also shown. If we look at one element, such as iron, we'll see that there's the symbol Fe, which is a symbol used to represent iron. But sometimes there are also some numbers. If we take a close look, the number at the top left is the atomic number of the element. This just tells you how many protons the element has, and by symmetry, how many electrons the element has in its neutral form. Neutral means that the overall charge on the atom should be 0, and therefore the number of electrons which are negative and the number of protons which are positive need to be equal to balance out the charge. Using this logic, since iron contains 26 protons in its neutral form, it would have 26 electrons. Now moving on to the number on the top right, this is known as the valency number. This tells you how many other things the atom can bind with. In the case of iron, it has two valency numbers, 2 and 3, which means that it can either bind with 2 other atoms or 3 other atoms. Since it has two valency numbers, it is said to be multivalent. Oftentimes, there's a positive or negative next to the valency number. And when this happens, this is now known as the oxidation state number. And this now tells you how many electrons the atom has gained or lost when bonding with other atoms. It should be noted that oftentimes, only the most common oxidation state numbers are shown. Now moving on to the number at the bottom. This is the atomic mass of the element, usually measured in the units of AMU, which stands for atomic mass unit. Since 1 AMU equals 1 grams per mole, we often refer to the atomic mass of the element as being measured in grams per mole, as it is easier to do calculations with the units of grams per mole. The atomic mass is an average weighted mass of all the isotopes of the element, taking into consideration the abundance of the isotope. Remember, isotopes are just different versions of an atom differing only in the number of neutrons. So some isotopes of iron are more rare than others, while others are more abundant. And therefore, the more abundant isotopes would contribute more to the calculation of the atomic mass. You now have the information necessary to interpret some of the numbers and symbols shown on the periodic table. We have come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful.